Hi, I'm Alison. Welcome to Dream Chasers Adventures in Happiness, where my band of superhero guests and I share with you tales of daring do, life-changing journeys towards living our best lives. If you're after an injection of inspiration and ideas to live the life that you want and deserve, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Hi there, and welcome to the show where we serve up conversation, concepts, and belief that it is entirely possible to create what you crave. If there's something stopping you from pursuing happiness, whatever that looks like to you from a career or lifestyle point of view, the stories and insights covered here are designed to help. Now today, I'm covering the subject of fun, because frankly, not enough of us are getting enough of it. This episode has actually been inspired by the TV series Race Across the World. Now, I am completely obsessed with it, and in particular, the lessons about fun coming through loud and clear from a young lad called Freddy, who happens to be Jeff Brazier, the celebrity's 19-year-old son. So if you feel like you could do with an injection of excitement and joy and laughter and just a general kind of zest for life, stay tuned, because I'm going to share 4 simple ways to reboot and amp up your fun quota, as inadvertently taught by the young Freddy himself. So just so you have a bit of context, if you're not watching Celebrity Race Across the World, 4 celebrities, along with a chosen loved one, are embarking on an epic race. So they are racing from the Amazon rainforest in Brazil all the way to the Andes in Chile at ground level, with only the cost of a plane ticket to fund their travels and their living expenses. Now, one of those celebrities is Jeff Brazier, the TV presenter, and he's joined by his young son, Freddy. At the start of the race, Jeff's rationale for doing this whole thing with his son was really to share the experience together and make memories. But partway through, what's really interesting is that he has also realised he has a lot to learn from Freddy about how to live and rebuild fun back into his life. Now, Jeff's lens on life is pretty serious, and it's no surprise given that he's faced some extremely tough times in his life. He lost his own father to a tragic disaster when he was just 9 years old. He became a full-time dad overnight to his 7 and 6-year-old sons when his ex-partner Jade Goody died from cancer back in 2009. And a month after that happened, his grandfather took his own life after being diagnosed with cancer himself. So there's been some really difficult stuff to deal with, and it's easy to see why fun might have taken a back seat for Jeff and responsibility and risk aversion took over. Now, hopefully, most of us won't have a succession of tragic challenges like that to deal with. But what I've learned from my own experience losing my darling husband earlier this year is that everyone has something that they're dealing with. You know, there is always something. None of us are immune to life's pains and burdens and pressures and responsibilities. And this whole adulting thing can leave us low on and, well, painfully missing, frankly, the fun quota. So, like Jeff, how might we learn to have fun again? You know, like, how can we add lightness and joy and laughs and a sense of freedom to our days and weeks and months and really inject some living back into our life? Well, in watching Freddy, I've been completely inspired. And I've pinpointed 4 simple things that he does, which I think we could all learn from and apply. So here goes. So number 1 is get silly. Right, this boy is wonderfully childlike. He doesn't take himself too seriously, and he approaches everything with a beginner's mind. Right, he is literally skipping about and finding things to appreciate and finding things to laugh at, and he generally exudes a kind of exuberance that's infectious. I think as adults, we all get so caught up in what people think about us and wanting to be seen in a particular way that we forget how to play and how brilliant that actually feels. So where could you get silly? You know, when and where could you cartwheel across a room or do a silly dance to entertain someone or look for the wonder and find awe in something? So the challenge here is to do just this and remind yourself just how good it really feels. Number 2 is don't overthink it. So in the race, the contestants have big decisions to make, right, about which route they're going to take to the next checkpoint. And those decisions can make or break their progress and ultimately their position in the race. Now, while Jeff and all the other adults are angsting about which way to go, Freddy is relying solely on his instinct. Like, he is not doing a major risk assessment. He's not considering all the things that could go wrong, and he isn't creating anxiety about making the wrong choice. He's simply using his gut feel and trusting it. And whether or not this works actually doesn't matter, because by listening to his instinct, he's able to live in the moment and have a great time without creating a shit ton of unnecessary anxiety. Because at the end of the day, for everybody on this race, right, whatever route they're taking, they won't know until they've arrived at the checkpoint whether or not it was a good decision, right? So they might be worrying all the way along for no reason whatsoever. And I think this is a really major life lesson. We are all guilty of what-ifing and worrying about things outside of our control. And what Freddy is showing is that the antidote really is to follow our gut. To deliberately tune into our instinct and let that instinct make decisions for us. We've got 2 chances either way. It's either going to be a good or a bad decision, but I'd put money on it that it's much more likely to be a good one if instinct is involved, because it's usually right. Plus, we might as well feel good through the process rather than anxious and stressed. So whatever decisions you've got to make over the next week or month, try putting your gut feel in charge and see what happens. Now, number 3 is look on the bright side. Right? Freddy is a total master at this. No matter what is happening, he's deliberately looking for the sunny side up. Right? When he and Jeff came last in the last race leg, Jeff was busy worrying and lamenting about how they'd gone from first place to last place and where they'd gone wrong and how they were going to make up the time. And Freddy's simple response to this was, yeah, but we're here now. And with a huge smile on his face. It's so easy to get caught up in life's frustrations and challenges and frankly the shit that goes wrong. But how often do we challenge ourselves to be glass half full? In those moments of difficulty or annoyance, we have 2 choices. Either lament what's gone wrong or look for the positive and the silver lining. Now, I've had to remind myself of this every single day since February, to look for and find the pockets of light in life so that I don't drown in sadness and let grief overwhelm me. So I have personal experience that this often takes work, but it is so worth it and it genuinely works. So I challenge you to do what I'm doing on this one, which is be more Freddy and seek out the bright side, or at the very least, be conscious of and stop yourself from bemoaning the crap stuff. Now, the fourth and final lesson is make time for the people and things that you love. Right? Now, Freddy's in a race, but this has not deterred him from doing exactly that, from making time for the people and things he loves. So despite it being out of the way and an unnecessary time stop when the clock is ticking, Freddy wanted to visit a spiritual statue in Brazil because he knew his dad would love it. Right? He chose it and did it for his dad. He really wasn't that bothered himself. But by doing so, he strengthened their bond in the process. He chose to spend time nurturing that relationship, which gave them both a real boost. Now, also, as part of the race, it requires that the contestants work and earn money, so that they don't run out before they reach the final destination. And despite one of the job options meaning a much longer route to the checkpoint, Freddy chose that one because it involves something he really loves, which is animals. So he spent a delighted day working with alpacas and didn't worry at all about how this was going to affect his race game. It's so easy, I think, for us to forfeit our time, deprioritizing the people and the things that we love in order to meet deadlines or fulfill work responsibilities or generally try and stay afloat in life. But Freddy has reminded me that the only two things that truly matter in life are the people and the things that we love. You know, it's how we'll measure the success of our life at the end of it. You know, these are the only two areas where there is potential for real regret. I wish I'd worked more hours at the thing I hate, or I wish I'd spent more of my free time on things I don't care about, said no one ever on their deathbed. So how can we make more time, or how can you make more time for the people and the things that you love? You know, how might you demonstrate thought and care and nurture your relationships with the people you care most about? How might you choose to spend your spare time or reconfigure your work so that you're deliberately engaging in activities and pastimes that light you up? That is your mission from this point, should you choose to accept it. So there you have it. 4 simple ways to consciously court lightness and reboot your fun quota, all courtesy of young Freddie Brazier. Now, I'd love to hear how you're deliberately doing these things, getting silly, not overthinking it, looking on the bright side, and making time for the things and the people you love. So feel free to drop me a line as you play with these things and let me know how you're getting on. So that's it for this episode. If you know of anyone who would benefit from listening to this, and you know, someone who maybe wants to inject a bit more joy and excitement and play into their life, please do share it. And until next time, just know that I believe in you and in your ability to make your life more fun, no matter what is happening. So go do your thing.
Thank you for listening today. I hope our time together has got you thinking about your own adventure in happiness. So please do get in touch. I'd love to hear more about your story. And why not join our Dream Chasers Unite community? There is nothing better than an adventure shared. Until next time, be brave and go create what you crave.